up, everybody? New episode, Rip, Ride, or Die. Episode 8, I got some dear friends of mine, Rick and Buddy from Six Dare Production. Badass filmmakers, skateboard videos, and we're going to dive into Warm Blood, Rick's new movie, filmed in Modesto. Fucking crazy-ass movie, so check it out. It's going to be a great episode. This is Rip, Ride, or Die podcast with me, of course, and I got two amazing friends right here, Rick and Buddy. Dude, this is such a pleasure. I'm so fucking stoked. You guys fucking rule. Skateboarders, filmmaking, just do whatever the fuck you want. And dude, it's a pleasure to have you guys. I'm fucking stoked.
Thank you. I gotta like get my energy up to Andy level.
Snapped into it. Yeah, Andy. Well, thanks for having us, dude.
Dude, of
Thanks
course.
for the introduction.
We've known each other for fucking way too long to have not done a podcast.
Dude,
what's taking so long?
I know, right? I know. I had to get my shit together, dude.
Yeah,
and I haven't done this in a while, so, dude, to have you guys do it is a fucking, it means a lot. It means the world to me, man. Like, you guys rule. We've been on some rad adventures. Like I said, you guys are fucking skateboarders that just do what you want. You see it through your guys' eyes, through skating, filmmaking, the stories we were just talking about. Like, the way you guys express yourself and do stuff is fucking cool. It's raw, and it's fucking right up my alley. I fucking dig it and respect it, and it's fucking great, dude.
Hell yeah. Thanks for that awesome intro, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything, you know, we've always pretty much made movies about the people we hang out with, you being one of them. So it's like, I think our films are like a direct, I mean, it's just a reflection of our scene and our people. So like, we hang out with awesome, interesting people.
Yeah.
Amazing people. So the films have a good chance of being interesting. Yeah,
it's cool. And you guys made so many skateboard videos, and you guys have been around some of the raddest skateboarders, been on some crazy-ass trips. Anti-Hero, of course. Like, obviously, I was with them for a long time, but for you guys to go, I was on those trips, but you guys fucking did a few, like the Body Corporate, right? City, did the Israel trip, through the mine, like Northwest, right? You guys done a bunch of skateboard, I mean, handfuls. Dude, amazing.
We've been at it since 99 or something.
Yeah. I mean,
you guys running together.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny because even from our first film together, Fruit of the Vine, which we did in 99, like, you know, we were doing that when we were like getting 30 years old or whatever. And we're like, you know what we haven't done? We haven't ever like just skated like as many pools as we could ever possibly skate in one time, you know, or whatever. So it's like, all right, we got these cameras, let's make a movie about skating pools. And that way, because we're, you know, we'll get in and we'll meet people and we'll get to skate a bunch of pools, you know, before we fucking cycle out of this thing or whatever. And that was like one big, like, reason to make the film was to have fun, you know, and the filmmaking thing was just like a means to an end in a way. You know, at the beginning, it was just like, how are we going to do this? There's no way you get to skate pools with Salva, and you can't just walk into that scene, you know, or whatever. And it's like, let's fucking make a movie about it, and we'll become, you know, it'll be fun, and and it fucking worked. And then we were hooked, right? I mean, after that, it's like, I mean, we had done shit before that, but it's like, I think that was pretty successful.
I was just in it for the money, dude.
Yeah, well, he was.
I saw dollar signs everywhere. Super 8 films about pool skating in the 90s.
That's really why we were doing it, for the money.
Dude, we are going to fucking cash in on this idea.
Yeah,
and you can tell we've become millionaires.
Big money.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing, too, Andy, like, and anyone listening, I hope someone's listening.
Hello?
You know, we got used to the idea of cameras being around really quickly. Podcast, you know, you'd say podcast when we started making films, people, you know, that didn't exist.
Right.
Cameras weren't everywhere, you know, phones weren't everywhere. Everyone didn't know how to edit, make movies, but to have references to what other people were doing to jive off. And like this whole fucking thing did not exist. It all came with, you know, phones and the internet. So this idea of, it was weird for people that we were sitting people down and pinning on like professional microphones and like for example, nobody knew how to clip a lav mic on. then, like one of those little clip-on mics.
Yeah, the slip.
Like people didn't even know what that was.
Right.
You hand a fucking lav mic to someone now, like everyone. That's just like a good reference as to where we're at now as opposed then. Nobody.
Yeah, now you hand it to a 12-year-old. They're like, oh yeah, here, should I clip my own microphone on? You're like, whoa.
Nobody knew how to even do that. So it was like the idea. It was funny because, well, not only did we not know what we were doing, because we had not edited yet. We knew what we were on.
The rudiments, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
But the process of like going and skating pools and all that shit you do anyway, and then at the end of it, we get beers and go back to someone's house. Okay, guys, we're gonna sit down and do an interview. They're like, what? Yeah, no, over there, and then the light and the microphone, and hey, can you get the dog to stop barking? And all of a sudden it was like, dude, what are you guys?
Here's a funny.
What the fuck is this all about?
I was just telling somebody a funny example. Like someone was asking me about, I think it was Jocko, was asking me about the intro to Fruit of the Vine, where I'm doing the narration. It's narration by that point, but I was telling him the story was that it was actually the opening narration of Fruit of the Vine is actually me retelling a quote that Salva said when we had sent Rhino to interview Salva, because we didn't have, we needed the good quote. And it was like, just go interview Salva. He'll say something cool for the beginning. And this is how out of it people were with interviews and stuff. We couldn't use it because they're sitting there and Kelly Belmar is off camera taking bong hits the whole time. It's all you hear is. You
would have seen that as all right, fuck yeah, we're using it.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, right. He should have been on camera. Yeah.
Today we'd be sick. There's bong hits.
But it could have been on camera, It would have been. Yeah. But it was we had to retell the story because nobody thought hey, dude, maybe don't take bong hits sitting right next to it, for the sound, not because of anything, or at least have them on camera so you can see the.
People just weren't used to cameras and microphones and videos.
We can maybe bleep out Kelly Belmar's name. I don't know if he wants to be on blast taking bong hits.
What fucking skateboarders do.
I don't know why I said his name.
What I want to say is and back then also, a lot of skateboarders didn't like to be filmed, or I don't know, being around.
No, definitely.
All of us, we weren't a big fan of it.
Another thing for sure.
And if we did it. We filmed each other back then.
Yeah.
It was before, they had someone run with you and the photo guy.
You didn't go on road trips with a filmer and a camera. The camera first, but when video dudes started showing up, that's just what. Again, just not to beat to death being old or whatever, but we're talking about how this all fucking started.
Exactly.
And this is the landscape, man. It was
well, especially on a pool mission, there was no room. Then at that point, no one was bringing an extra body on a pool mission. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was
there was all these rules.
We both had to show up and skate immediately, which we wanted to do anyway. That was the whole reason we were there. We weren't there to film primarily. That's why another reason there was two of us, because one could always be skating. If we went alone with a camera, it's well, then we don't get to fucking skate.
Yeah.
So it was we were literally take a run. Here, Rick, you take the camera.
So
Rick
sick.
films, then I take he takes a run, and then I film, or whatever. And so we each got to skate half the time, and then we would shoot video too so we would have audio because we're shooting film with no sound. So it's the partnership was also, again, being in a partnership was a way to keep having more fun while we were making films, because obviously, he made the joke, we weren't thinking, we were spending money. We weren't, making money wasn't ever a thing. We were
you guys were just doing
money.
It for the.
It was an art project, man.
Yeah.
It was just a fucking weird, what are we doing this summer? And we were living in New York City, and we were working in the we world there, freelance, camera, sound and stuff, just news and that kind of shit in New York, skating as much as we could. But it was seriously we were. Yeah, I was older. I was 31, 32 years old. That was kind of old to be launching into a skateboard.
Right.
Definitely the oldest guys that started making skate videos.
So sick.
But I mean, dude, age is just a reference, but we never thought about that. But everything's interesting, and it's not always 20/20 hindsight.
But that's where you guys
sometimes
met,
you're just wow.
Is that what
we originally had met? I'll let him cough. Hold on. We originally had met in this is another dude. Just again, I mean, we're harping on old guy shit, but we'll get to something not so old. But it's just funny the way shit. In 1990 we met, right? 90, 89, one of those years. I don't know. 90. Okay, so 1990. And this is how crusty, like, I mean, we were already kind of like, there was one indoor vert ramp in the U.S., basically, and that was in Dallas, Texas. Jeff Phillips,
Yes.
who was an amazing rad skater and rad person, had somehow convinced somebody to, like, build a huge indoor skate park in Dallas, and he put his name on it, you know, or whatever. And so it was like, I was living in Oregon with my friends, me and Red, you know, Red Scott Burnside, and two of our other friends drove down, made a road trip, and we were going to end in Dallas with the idea of meeting Jeff Phillips and skating his park every day for a few months, you know, in the winter.
Yeah.
And we get down there, and the first people we see is Rick and his buddy, Dan Tag, and a couple other people doing the same thing, but coming from Philly. You know what I mean? It was like the place to go or whatever. Cool. We ended up staying in the same apartment for a few weeks. Rick kept going to California. I ended up going to Stone Edge, which was one of the only outdoor skate parks in the country.
And that was pretty new.
Yeah, that was really new.
Again,
right?
let's just set the scene here. This is late 80s, early 90s. Vert is dead, pretty much, or on its way out. And this whole, you know, evolution, skateboarding is happening, which is into the street, small wheels, blah, blah, blah. We've heard this a million times. But, like, we were out of high school, sort of, what the fuck are we doing? We're not normal. I wasn't going to college or anything. So let's just pick a spot to go skate for the winter somewhere warm, indoors, or just somewhere where there's something. That happened to be fucking Dallas, Texas. From Pennsylvania, from Oregon, a Masonite fucking half pipe in a warehouse in Dallas, in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, was the hot spot.
Yeah,
like,
that's how different skating was.
Pathetic that is, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, that's it.
That was the scene. If you were a trog, you know, if you were still holding on to the dream of like, oh, I'm going to skate the ramp all the
And then for you guys to run into each other and like, oh, fuck, you guys are on the same mission.
Yeah.
Like,
you're all kids at that point. You know, everyone you run into. Well, at that age, you're just like, nah, it's on. You know, you're not even thinking.
The way we met really was one guy from our crew, Davey Rogers, rode for Skull. He might have had a board at that time. And then his buddy, Dan Tag, had a board on Skull. So it was like, I remember we rocked up and we're like, oh, dude, maybe those guys have a place to stay. Dan rides for Skull. You're right. We pushed Davey like, dude, go talk to Dan Tag, you know, or whatever, because we'd seen his name in the mag and we knew who he was. And we're like, maybe they got a place to stay. Because we had nothing, dude. We showed up in Dallas. We had no place to stay. We were just going to sleep in the parking lot, which is what we'd been doing all the way down anyway, you know, or whatever. And so, yeah, he did. And he was like, yeah, oh, yeah. They didn't have a place to stay. They were staying at this guy Bernie O'Dowd's apartment. So we were 9 dudes in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
It's so
radical.
So ridiculous, but
early days.
Yeah. Anyway,
so that's where it started.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, skateboarders, and then skateboarders with cameras, and like
6 years later, we met back up in New York, and we were both kind of into the same shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys ran back into each other in New York.
Skating the ramp, Andy Kessler ramp.
It seems like, you know.
What's that?
It's like meant to be.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, looking back at it, you know, like, the fucking how crazy how you guys met.
Yeah, the world was, it was definite. Skateboarding was different, you know, as far as like what skateboarding was, the people involved with it, the scenes. It was way tighter.
Right.
Way
especially
smaller.
for has-beens, you know, like we were
more
out of it.
There's bonding in it that was, you know, whatever. It blew up. It got huge. So, but at that point, it was really pretty, like, you knew people, like, all over. And it was one of those things, like, if someone showed up and they skated in your town, you were there. Like, where are they? You know, like, it was full on. That's the way it was.
I bet you it's the same. I think it's the same now with skating. It's just there's probably 10 versions of that. There's like, if you're this kind of skater, you meet that kind of skater in every town. If you're that kind of skater, you meet that kind of skater in town. You know what I mean? So skating's so big that it's the same. At that time, it was small enough where it was like, I mean, we were, you know, maybe vert skaters or whatever, old dudes, but even then. But now I'm sure it's like, oh, I'm into this kind of shit in skating, and I'll run into those people, you know, like.
Right. Yeah.
And so they're just small scenes within the bigger scene now. And
yeah, I'm sure it's like bigger, like you're saying, you know.
Yeah, it's just huge.
But back then, you run into each other, you're like, fucking, this is great. All right, they're on the same fucking trip I'm on. Let's go fucking find some spots or whatever, you know.
And Thrasher magazine was, like, honestly, it was pretty much the guidebook. Like, you knew, back then you read every page, every word. You knew every name, every thumbnail photo. You knew that dude. If you showed up in fucking Santa Cruz or Tallahassee or fucking Austin, you knew that dude, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, you knew. Everybody knew. That was the guidebook. Yep. For spots, for people's names, for gear. Like, so
well, yeah, we knew who you guys were because you both had checkouts and, you know, in Trans World. So it's like, we knew.
We're all reading the same shit. It was kind of a funny, interesting thing to look back on is that we were, like, if you rode a skateboard, there was a common, well, that, like I said, that was our guidebook. Like, straight fucking up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like you said, dude, going through magazines, dude, I knew who every skateboarder was. Everybody, you know what I mean? And then to run into him, like, sick.
Yeah.
He's from wherever, fucking Michigan or something. Like,
you always recognize the name.
You know who that fucking dude was.
Yeah. And it was all gnarly because you looked at that photo 100 times of this weird dude with a blonde mohawk doing an invert on this strange ramp. And you're like, oh my God, I'm here. So the ramp's so much smaller than it looked in the bag. Like, oh, that dude kind of sucks. Like, how do you get a photo? Whatever. All that shit.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Dude. And what also I like to bring up is like filming, like you don't like to be filmed. I don't know. That's how I grew up, how we grew up. But being around you guys, peace, don't rest in peace. Like, that's why I give you guys respect. Like, people fucking will skate with you guys because you guys are skateboarders. You guys are fucking down for the cause. You'll fucking hop the fence. We'll risk the tickets, whatever. You know what I mean? So when you got someone like that with a camera on you too, you know, and it ain't some fucking dude. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I never wanted to be on one of those fucking people who was filming skateboarding. I wouldn't film it unless I skated.
Yeah, of course. But there's just certain dudes, like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys, I don't know, that comes to mind for me. Like, man, like, no hesitate. Let's fucking get something, you know? Like,
we probably didn't even realize that. We probably didn't realize that.
Well, because half of our objective was to skate.
Yeah, and that's,
you know, I mean,
into just skating.
Yeah,
and doing just rolling with it.
No one was going to invite us into the van or to go on a trip for our skating. Yeah,
buddy.
I mean, let's be real. You know, like, people weren't like, dude, jump in the van. It'd be sick to have you at the sesh for skate. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's make film. And people are like, all of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, you get to go on a Tent City trip. You know, and it's like, you know, that's amazing to be on something like that. To be like, and to shoot it. To me is like the raddest thing is to go on those trips. You get to skate a little bit here and there, you know, and have fun and then interpret it, you know, through the camera. And it's as addicting as skating, you know what I mean? Like, to be able to tell a story in what you get, especially shooting in film. Cause, like, you know, say Tent City, you know, like, we were shooting on mostly Super 8 and we shoot video too or whatever, but you don't see anything. And so you're just like, fuck. You know, we got, what is it, Tent City, we probably shot like 80 rolls of Super 8 or 90 rolls of Super 8 or something. And it's in a big fucking bag. And we're sleeping outside every night. You're like next to us in the tent. And, you know, you're just fucking trying to protect that baby, you know, and it's so stressful the whole time because you have no idea. I mean, this shit could come out.
The longer you get into the trip, the more valuable the bag becomes.
And the more likelihood that the camera fucked up or that the film got fucked up or something. And then you get back and you're just like, every reel that goes by that you're watching, you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time we came back from the Ecuador trip. We went down to Ecuador and with a bunch of people and came back.
That park with the full pipe? Isn't that the one?
The park with the full pipe in Quito, And not on Jake's first Telluride trip, but because of that trip, we went back with a similar crew. But and I remember got back and one of the rolls, we must have had like a macro lens on it or whatever. One of the rolls came back all super out of focus. I remember I fucking punched a hole in my closet door in my living room. I was so bummed. I was like, fuck, bam. And we ended up using it anyway. It like looked pretty cool after all, you know, whatever. But it was like, I was so bummed, like all that work. And then it's like, but luckily it was only one roll out of like that trip. We probably shot like 40 rolls or 50 rolls of film. But
dude, there's nothing like getting, you know, it's really fun to get a pack of film back, like photo film. You know, that's always exciting. You got to pick that white envelope up.
Yeah.
And then you start flipping through it. You're like, oh, I forgot about this or that or whatever. But dude, film, like movie film, getting that shit back and turning the lights off and projecting that shit onto the wall, it is fucking magical, dude. It is so exciting, dude.
It's like one of the best.
To get to see that. You can't fucking believe
when it comes out good. Yeah. It's like one of the best feelings in the whole world.
And so that was a huge part of the addiction, man. I think was
and the adrenaline rush on all sides of like shooting it, and you can hear it going through. You know the film.
Yeah.
And once we started shooting more, we knew you know when we were shooting. You know, we knew that it was going to be good.
Yeah.
We didn't know, but we weren't as clueless. But for sure, the first couple films, there was a lot of like, like, is this even gonna, you know, we're putting a lot on the line here to shoot this stuff and not actually have any footage to look at.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna get home and see if we have something.
That's crazy to think about, right? And like,
so, dude, I drove
but you learn from it.
I took a road trip back to New York after that Fruit of the Vine trip in the late 90s with my old lady, and we left the fucking film in the trunk of the car, like, all day, you know what I mean? Like, we're just so out of it. I can't believe that shit happened. Like, that it came, like, it's, I mean, we spent like 30 grand or something of money we didn't have to make that thing, or I don't know, more. But
anyway, that was all the big, you know, that's like big beginning chapter of us getting that shit out. Like, it basically went from, meeting old, skating around, blah, blah, blah. And then once the film thing kicked off, again, we never tried to be considered ourselves filmmakers or anything. Like,
just doing it because we're skateboarders, man. You loved it, right? That's why.
It was just something. It was weird too when we moved to LA finally, and we started hanging out with people in the movie industry. You know, this industry is real. Like, there's titles and there's departments and there's people that adhere to their department strictly, and this person hands to that person. There's a regimen of filmmaking, and there's titles: producer, director, editor. I didn't fucking know what that. We never knew what any of these terms were. Like, even when we started working like a little commercial work or whatever, you know, terms like I didn't know. At one point, not even that long ago, I had to really get clarity on what a producer was. What is that?
Still not 1,000%.
Sure. We've been doing, we've been producing, directing, editing, fundraising, advertising, fucking art department. You know, it was just due. And it was really funny to see that, even doing the titles for Warm Blood, which is, you know, the latest thing. We're sitting, even doing the titles with that was hard, because I was like, dude, I don't know how to, director, you know, like, where is the line between what this person, so many people, I mean, that's what the show and the book is about. It's just like, dude, I never felt comfortable with, you know, certain titles or certain people having certain titles, because or some, you know, there's producers in a certain lit, like, whose name goes first. All that shit just feels awkward to me. It just does, because we never paid much attention to any of those rules.
It's still uncomfortable doing credits. Like, at the end, like, it's still a pretty uncomfortable process of like,
it's weird.
Like, fuck, what, you know, and it's some people whatever. People just have different ideas about it. So
it means
it's not why we got into it.
We have learned that. We have learned that people get bummed out if they're in the raw. I mean,
it's ain't a big deal to anybody. Like, I don't know, for me, but like, people
on this thing. No, I mean, everybody, like,
well, I mean, like, people, part of it, they want.
It is a big deal to some people, and I get it. I mean, it's been a big deal to me at certain points. Like, if, say, you did a lot of work for somebody and helped them out, and you didn't get paid, it's like, you want to be acknowledged, you know? Yeah. It's not a big deal in the sense of like, oh, put my name first, but just to be acknowledged for, like.
If you look at the credits of our movies, they're really long. Every time.
Definitely.
They're overboard.
We made mistakes of not acknowledging people enough early on.
Right.
You know, and like, and the cool thing about people, like, it's funny. It's like, on one hand, it's like, oh, that's weird that somebody's getting all bent out of shape. But then you got to take a step back and you're like, dude, that means they think the project's really cool, because they wouldn't be bummed not being acknowledged if it was a dog shit project. They'd be like, oh yeah, whatever, like, don't bother, you know, put my name in. But like, if people get bent out of shape that they're not like, and call you and say, hey, I want to make sure that I get a good credit in this thing, you're like, oh, that's, in one sense, it's pretty cool. That means that they're stoked on the project. Yeah. You know, so that they don't even need to say it. You're like, oh, I get it now. Like,
it does mean a lot.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time on credits. Like when we do our credits, you know, I keep a list as the movies happen. Like for Warm Blood, I always, particularly because it took so long, I had a book that I just kept scribbling names in. You know, people at the, you know, because every fucking name, every person, there was a lot of favors. And even someone just saying, yeah, you can park here and shoot your scene in that corner. Like, dude, that meant a lot. Yeah, it doesn't go unrecognized. So you got to remember all these fucking people, dude. Like, everybody is important. You just think that if that one day you couldn't have filmed, like the pain in the ass of going to that other spot, whatever. It's like, no, someone gave you that space.
There's a little piece
to do your shit.
Everything, whether how big or small. And they don't even always.
They might not even know how much it meant.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's in the spirit of community filmmaking. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we are, you know, quote unquote filmmakers, but it's like everybody that is involved in projects that we do are, you know, filmmaking with us. You know, we're all making it together, you know, and I think it's, you know, that's like Rick said, you know, the spirit of it is to acknowledge everybody's participation and help. And because you can't, you know, it's a contact sport. It's a community fucking effort. You know, it's all these things.
It's money is not
well in our way.
Yes, it's not the biggest value. Your value comes in all of the input from all your friends. The same shit as it's like, it's funny, think about it. We got it all from skateboarding. Like that whole ideology or whatever you call it comes from skateboarding. That is skateboarding.
Yeah,
all in.
I agree.
Nobody's looking for money. They're just looking for maybe a cold beer or something, you know, or, you know, like.
No, look at the things that skate.
So true.
When you talk about DIY skate parks and stuff, like you look at these things that people do charge millions of dollars to make, you know, like the big skate parks and whatever.
Right.
And you look at Burnside and it's like, nobody got paid a penny.
Nah.
You know, or you look at FDR or Washington Street, you know, the big, the originals, you know. Washington Street, are you fucking kidding me? Like that place, like a Mason would go down there and be like, holy fucking shit, people did this for free. Kids.
They can't believe that
did this for free?
Kids made these things.
I can't fucking believe it. And I've seen these things go up, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
cool.
A lot of time and energy spent, a lot of dedication. It's like its own economy, it's its own government, it's its own police station, it's its own fucking halfway house, it's its own, it's everything. It's really an interesting community. And so, yeah, when we talk about how we ended up making films, being filmmakers, whatever, it really comes through. That's how we knew how to get shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also that thing of like your integrity and your like being part of a larger thing is so important, you know, where you can't, like when you're building part of building a DIY or a DIY music scene or making films, whatever, like you said, it's not money. It's about what are you doing? What are you giving back for everybody else? You know, how much harder can you work, you know, to make a bigger contribution?
Yeah.
Not how much money can you take out of it. You know what I mean? That's not your value. The value is in what are you giving, not what are you taking out.
Yeah. Something rad.
Yeah. And that's your success. Your success is how much did you do, not how much did you take, you know?
Right.
And you see that like, oh, what defines success? You know, some people money, some people power, whatever. Like, I think for these certain, you know, kind of projects and these certain scenes, the success is, again, how much did you contribute?
Right.
You know?
There's actually nothing to take away from it except some fucking ripping.
Right.
Like, so that's your work. The value, you know, your work. The payoff is getting the rip.
Right.
And have a place to fucking do any fucking thing you want.
It's like, who's the best skater? The one having the most fun.
You made it.
Yeah, exactly.
You built it.
Yeah, like when
you made the rules.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy because when I was hanging out with Julian a lot, it was like even before Anti-Hero, he fucking hit me up and he's like, dude, went to Burnside. This place was fucking sick, Andy. We got to go.
What year is this?
Fuck, dude, it was
92.
92, 93. We took a green tortoise, like a hippie bus.
I remember
you could take
taking
your shoes
that
off and you could pick a top loft little spot, or they pulled tables out. And we fucking drove along the coast, whatever. You stopped by a river, they fed you pancakes.
Yeah, and they had the steam hut and shit.
Yeah, we got in there. There's naked people swimming in the river and stuff. But me and Julian went. He's like, dude, you got to go, Andy. I think he went with Ferdinand, Dirty Ferdy. Yeah. And then we got dropped off downtown Oregon, and we fucking skated down the hill. And fucking when I seen it, I was just like, no fucking way. They fucking built this. I never seen nothing like this before.
I remember when you guys got there that day.
Really?
Yeah, I was at the park when you and Ferdy and Julian skated up.
Yeah.
I remember that I was actually there that day.
The fucking place blew me away. And then just the environment of this, how raw and gritty it was. And like, man, you fucking skateboard, man. And then like, pay your respects, bring some fucking beer for people, you know? And like, this is how connected everyone was.
Yeah,
man. It was so fucking raw, dude.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing that shit. As a kid, seeing how those communities, those skate scenes in different towns worked, and yeah, just showing up with beers or showing up with this or doing that. Like people's parents were coming with a pickup truck with a bunch of rocks in it or whatever. Like you never knew what it was going to be. Like it's the real, actual, you know, it is communal living. It's like a real communal fucking thing, like to the core. Not preaching it like a bunch of hippies or some shit. You know, it's not all organized or whatever, but somehow out of all the madness, there is a full-on functional, you know, spine to it all.
Yeah.
Somehow all the chaos somehow works. You put enough misfits together.
And misfits for sure.
For real, dude.
Absolutely.
Like people ripping
comes
each
out
other
of here
off
with what you can make, it's fucking...
You know, it doesn't, there was no... And it's, a fucking misfit.
Thank you, Red. Hubbard, rest in peace, starting that shit.
Yeah.
Keeping, like, it's fucking...
It's so cool, too, to be able to see, like...
For sure.
We've studied so much skate history, not necessarily on purpose, but just because. And it's so cool to be able to trace that sort of lineage of, you know, the way skateboarding is and has been and continues to be all the way from the beginning, you know, from, you know, people like Craig Stesic or Mofo or Kevin Thatcher, you know, all the, like, this thing of giving so much, you know, to skating and help. Like, why is skating cooler than, you know, anything else, you know, in terms of the things kids do, you know? It's obviously way cooler than, I mean, and that's not even like an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, that's objective fact. Like, skateboarding just is cooler than, like, every other thing that kids get into. You know?
Fuck yeah, dude,
I can say that with all certainty, but it's like...
We've done the research.
Yeah, I've done the research. This is actually true fact. Skateboarding is the coolest thing. But it comes, like, it's not a mistake. You know, it's not a mistake that it's that way. You know, it was molded and shaped and very, you know, consciously driven towards this thing, you know, that keeps it so cool, you know? And it's so, to me, what's so cool about like present day is to see more girls and queer kids and people from other countries discovering things that actually were set in motion in the mid-'70s by people like Stesic and then later by Mofo and Thatcher and Stacy Peralta, whatever, you know, Tony Alva, you know, all these people and Jay Adams, you know, people that set this thing on its course, you know, and people still discovering to this day, not even knowing that it comes from that thing, but you know, like...
It's taken a lot of fucking flack, a lot of bullshit, a lot of commercial, you know, it's had every chance to suck.
Yeah.
And it has survived all of it.
Because it has a strong foundation.
All of it. It's gone through so many fucking ups and downs. I mean, look, you know, you've been there. Look at how much fucking cheese has fucking filtered through this scene, dude. So much cheese. More cheese than...
Dude, because everyone wants a piece because it's the coolest thing.
But it's absolutely survived it. And I think Julian, you know, again, referring to Julian, you know, I don't know. I said something about skateboarding and the state of skateboarding today. Some old man bullshit. And then 6 months or whatever going, he's like, no, dude, you know, skin hitting the concrete, man, and blood, you know, that's still the same. Like,
yeah.
And it's
that ain't never going to change, dude.
And,
you know, and that is skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to do it, your skin's going to hit the concrete. It's going to scrape away. It's going to bleed. There's going to be a scab. It's going to get infected. You're going to pick it. And that's timeless. And
you're going to get up and do it again.
Yeah, over and over again.
And say thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is
I
real.
love this. Yeah.
And if
it's straight up.
If you no fucking matter what, dude. If you're fucking going for it, dude, and you're putting it on the line to the point where you're gonna it's usually like a part of a lot of sports is protecting yourself from those things, or like putting padding on, or there's restrictions or speed limits or stadiums or lines or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like the
confines.
point of skateboarding is to fucking take skin off your body. Like that's
the end result.
Yeah.
That's
it, dude. And you're never gonna get good unless you lose a lot of skin.
Yes.
Or ligaments or bones or whatever. That's also a part of what keeps it cool.
And to keep doing it where you're not supposed to be doing it.
True,
you know?
true.
Yeah.
Like my favorite thing is to see a skate park that the town built, like, you know, spent $300,000 to build a skate park, and most of the kids are skating in the parking lot. You know, like that to me is like pure skateboard, you know, like skating the curb because maybe there's a dickhead that's at the park running it, or that you have to wear a helmet, or, you know, whatever. And so
the kid go get some in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah, and so kids just hang out in the parking lot. You know, like that's skateboarding. And the town leaders are like, we just built these kids a $300,000 skate park and they sit in the parking lot. It's like,
skaters
that's
are fucking
skateboarding.
Skaters like to say fuck you.
You tell them where to do it. You tell them where to do it, and they'll do it next door. You know, like even if it sucks, like fuck you.
For us, we're just gonna skate out here.
You know, and that's again objectively why skateboarding is, you know, because other things aren't like that. You know, other things aren't. Everything about skateboarding is fuck you. You know what I mean? Like every part of it, it's built into the DNA, and that's again what I go back to the foundation. It was built on purpose. That's not a mistake. Skateboarding isn't the fuck you activity of kids by accident. You know, it didn't just happen, because it could be pogo sticking, it could be fucking rollerblading, it could be anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the reason skateboarding is cool is that mythology, that thing that's been attached to it for 60 years or 50 years of like the fuck you, you know? And it's...
Don't matter. We're going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking hop these fences, or we're going to skate on this fucking, get a trespassing ticket where it says there's signs. No,
It feels good, man.
Yeah.
It feels good. You start to learn too. I mean, maybe you learn, maybe you don't consciously, but you do start to learn that their rules are not necessarily, they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
The people that
outside of skateboarding
that made and enforced the rules of just life, of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Of economy and money and success and what it takes to get all these things. Like, you're like, whoa, like you really start to question that shit early with skateboarding, because you're like, hold on a second, it's not catching. Like, okay, I'm in my mid-20s now, I'm in my late 20s, I'm in my 30s, in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. It never caught. Like, I never bought into it. I never bought into their fucking version of the way it should be, because ours makes way more sense.
It's just more organic.
Fucking fuck around and fucking not worry about anything.
It's also creative and community-based, and it's super selfish in a lot of ways. It's also super communal. It's all of these things. It's all of it.
Yeah, especially back like in our day, like I was young, you know, there wasn't that a lot of skateboarders like there are now. And so if you seen another dude with a skateboard, you're like, fuck yes, he skate. Like fucking instant fucking connection. Let's go skate. Like that was it. That was a fucking friendship right there. Well, I've seen someone with a skateboard.
Like I say, I think, you know, nowadays what I notice is there's that same thing, but it's skateboarding is like 8 different kinds of skaters. You know, like now you'd be a skater and you go down the street and you see a skater that's in your kind of scene, you know, like this, that, or the other. Right. You know, like, oh, that kid's, you know, got a wide board and fucking whatever and ripped up clothes. Oh, that's one of my skaters, you know, one of my type, you know, or whatever. And then some other kid maybe more, you know, jocked out looking or whatever, you know, oh, that's my kind of skater. You know, I'm going to go identify with, you know, so skating is the same. It's just so big that it's broken into, you know, maybe 6 or 8 different elements, you know. You got a lot of girls and women that identify, you know, like, oh, I'm sure when a 17-year-old girl goes into town, some other city, and she sees a group of girls skating, she's like, oh, fuck yeah, that's my people. And they can connect. Like immediately. You know what I mean? Like I imagine, it has to be that way, you know? And so it's just smaller, you know, still that same spirit, just where's how rad is it that the thing that used to be one group of kids is now like 10 groups of kids?
Spread.
Yeah, it's always been that cool. Okay, we got to stop bragging about skateboarding soon. We'll move on to something else. But you don't have to be like, how many sports exist that doesn't matter if you're good at it or not?
Or if you're high when you do it.
Suck. Or
if you're drunk when you do it.
It doesn't fucking matter. Like, you can be sober, high, drunk, wear a fucking dress, wear a fucking anything you want. And like, you'll get a hoot from fucking Tony Hawk. Like, he doesn't.
If you see something sick, yeah.
Like, you just don't gotta be good.
Radical, dude.
Yeah,
like,
and you're also gonna see the weirdest outfits and the strangest styles and it's fun, dude. It's a freak show.
It is.
That's
cool.
Remain. I like the idea of getting more stoked on the person who's, you know, technically not that good at skateboarding versus the other dude who's flying around, ripping and doing everything perfect. You're not even, the people are like, yeah.
What does Julian say in 10 City? The deadhead in the corner on acid doing 360s is a skater.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, I don't know. He has some funny quote. Isn't that 10 City? I think, yeah. Is it 10 City? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, next topic.
Hey, so skateboarding.
All right.
I
just fucking think
we settled it, though. Skateboarding is the coolest thing, so that's settled. Yeah.
And that's the connection. We all that, and then fucking love skateboarding for that. So I want to talk about Warm Blood, the fucking movie you made, how we fucking met up, and how I want to know how like it started. Like what inspired you? Like what clicked your what was it that made you want to do this movie, and where did it come from? Like, I
think, like, looking back now, it was probably all the years of going to trippy places to skate and seeing, like, for real, like, you know, I've said this a couple times now, but I think it's true, man. I think I was always interested in the weirdo tweakers that were sleeping up in the hotel rooms at the abandoned hotel where we were skating the pool.
Yeah.
Like, they come down and say something interesting. They always have some weird tattoo. Hey, it's my pet rat. And, you know, hey, you know, this is my girlfriend. She's pregnant, and she's got 12 cats. And just all this fucking weird tweakers that were hanging out in these fucked up towns and these fucked up places that we'd go to skate pools. Because pools, a lot of times, are, you know, empty pools.
Right.
Are in often in shitty neighborhoods, places that are about to get bulldozed, places that are out of business. So, you know, it's usually like in seedy environments. And I've always been attracted to like the idea of like, what's that going on in the back of that liquor store that we just stopped in? Like there was some weird noise going on back. There was some weird thing in the bathroom. You know, so all the strangeness that comes with weird neighborhoods was probably, it was real easy when I got the idea of the movie. Like, I knew right away, like, okay, this is the kind of stuff I'm interested in. And how to turn that into a fucking movie, God knows. But there was definitely, it came from hanging out. Okay, there was an idea initially that probably was inspired from skateboarding. And then it came from someone I met. I read a book. I read a journal that someone wrote in as a kid in Modesto, which sort of tipped me off. So that got my eye on Modesto and like, oh, wow, weird kids in Modesto. Like, sounds weird. It was written in the 80s. So then...
have you ever been to Modesto?
I had about been Modesto? To skate, yeah. With Brian Ferdinand, in fact.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ferdy took us to, like, we skated some...
Amazing pool. Wow.
Yeah, that pool was probably one of the best pools we ever skated.
Right.
2 love seats and shallow. Anyway, it was so good.
Right.
Okay, again, Julian keeps coming up, dude. Guy's fucking important in our lives. I was in San Francisco, and I was like, you know, we're rapping. Dude, I want to make this fucking movie about what's it about? I don't know. It takes place in Modesto. Maybe oh, dude, you got to meet Andy Roy. Yeah, here's his number. Oh, really? Cool. Like, instead of driving home, I'll go over to Modesto, 2 hours or whatever from SF. So if you look on the wall over here, this thing framed up on the wall is a drawing of the Modesto Archway.
Yeah.
With your name and address on it.
Right.
Written underneath. Yeah. And I pulled that out of a notebook. I was waiting to meet you to start creeping around Modesto and meeting people.
And we met at the bar, right? Is that where we met first off?
Where?
At the bar next to the pool. Is that where when you came?
I don't remember.
You met him at my house, but
I think we went to your house and then we went looking around for pools. But to get right down to it, it was like a story that was probably inspired from the periphery of all the life around skateboarding, you know, all that shit that was happening off to the sides. Then a journal, then actually going there and meeting you. And when I met you, it was on. It was just like, okay, dude, you know, all of a sudden there was no, it's not how you want to make a movie if you're actually trying, you know, you don't want to do it like this. I just probably wasn't so serious, or I didn't know or believe that I could. So it was a start on something, like a weekend project. Work on the jalopy in the fucking garage.
Yeah.
Try to get it running. And so that just turned into, you're into it, dude.
Dude, it was great.
And so I was like, okay, Andy's into this. Now I'm super motivated. And dude, and so, you know, it's well documented.
Well, it was fucking cool, like, for you just to be open-minded and fucking go to the places. And we'll get into it because my buddy ran around. We all did, you know what I mean? But like, to like, let's just go fucking trip out on Modesto.
Let's go trip out on Modesto.
We can get into.
It's one thing I've learned about life. It works for me. It's like, just don't frame up too many ideas of how anything is going to be or should be. I'm definitely not ever going to be a producer. Now that I know what a producer is, probably not going to be the best producer because I just don't fucking have that clarity of how and when, and there's no form to it. So it just sort of went on forever. And it was just, and probably because there was no one else, it was just you and me. There was no one pushing us or trying to put framework to it or anything. It just kept fucking going on. It was like a weird project. At some point, we had to add it all up and start getting serious about it and like write a script and try to figure out how to put all these people that we'd met, like these lists of people, all these hours of video. At some point, I had to start taking note cards and figuring out how this story.
Yeah, we'll film some stuff, and we're gonna fucking show some of this stuff in the podcast. But like, we're gonna from the pictures and like how it all first started right there, like with your fucking cards. Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's what that was like your blueprint, right? Like that was.
That's the only way I can figure out how to do it.
But that's your way.
Everything.
And that's fucking great.
I've always done that with everything. You know, with the love letters or whatever, we'd have a chapter. I just need to like take a piece of paper and start putting words on it in lists. It has to be visual.
Yeah, people can see that. It's so fucking crazy.
It fits together. It works. It's like it's fail proof.
That's how we've done every
skateboarding too. Like,
yeah. Because
it's your guys' way, man.
Just always breaking it down into little easier to understand bits, rather. You know, it's hard to see
you kind of gather it all together, right? Like gather it all together, and like you said, right, like you could just look at it, and then you could start piece it together, and like instead of having it all planned out.
And you know, I think it's also comes. I mean, for me anyway, it comes from having a collaboration for so long of like always trying to explain to the other one and trying to find different ways to like work together in the sense of like, hey, this is what are we agreeing that this is what we're going, you know, like rather than trying to just explain. I think we should put this one after that, you know, and we do that for a few minutes. And then finally one of us would be like, dude, okay, just write it down. Like, let's just put it and we can visually put these things one after the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so probably, I would guess it probably sort of comes out of that a little bit too, right? Like
I run like everything in life gets put on note cards on the wall for me. Like the dentist appointment, I take the dog to the vet. Like I can't fucking get anything done. It can't be on my phone. It can't be in the fucking, it has to be fucking note cards on the wall.
Yeah.
And then you stack them. Dude, once you put it on paper, who was it that told me this? Was it Olsen? Was it someone that was, I was like, wow, you're right. Like you fucking put it on paper. You write it on a piece of paper and stick it on the wall. There's no, it's real. It's alive.
Right.
It is fucking real. And if it made it onto that card and onto that wall, it is a part of what you're doing. Whether it makes it there or not, whether it goes away or not, you're always going to be thinking it. And it's the same way as editing. Basically, that's paper editing. That's the same way as we edit.
Right.
Is you just need to get everything out that has something to do with your fucking story, whether you know it's going to work or not, and you put it on the wall and you find a place for it. And it keeps, if it stays there through the process,
right,
then it belongs there. Sometimes it gets shifted, sometimes it gets put off to the side. But as long as it's on paper on the wall, color coded, I like color coding. If there's like different elements, like different subjects.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm just going to break in for a quick second. We're in a These Days gallery, and it's open for business, so you might see or hear people now, because there's going to be people walking in.
Yeah,
so
right.
Just,
live action.
Yeah, live action.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Come in and see the animals at play.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there. There'll be people walking around.
All right.
Maybe.
No worries.
So is there visuals with this podcast?
Yeah, this is going to be.
You edit it with visuals in there?
Cool.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
Yeah, even if it's an image, so you have some reference.
Oh, yeah, we're going to.
Yeah,
well, after this, we'll.
Super fun.
I mean, I think that system works. I mean, it's not anything. Like, I like it so much because it's just so fucking primitive.
And it's cool that you can physically move it. You can take a thing that's on the upper left corner, and you're like, you know what? Maybe this would work better down there. And you can see it. Like if you move it from the upper left corner and you stick it on, 7 note cards.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you can get an idea of like, I don't know, man. That's 5 of those kind of scenes in a row. You know, it's like.
Totally. Or there's too much voiceover clumped up in this area. Or look, the news guy falls in here. So that's where the colors come in. You take one glance at the wall and you say there's an even spread of all of your elements across the movie. Music, voiceover, video, film, whatever the news. I mean, if go to school, like if I was studying in college for something, there's nothing, I would use the same system. Like I said, I use that system to get through the week with my life.
It's great. And it's rad how, like, when we went to Modesto and we just started going to, like, wherever. And then, like, we just would go to just, you're open to just to go fucking check it out. Like, oh, this happened over here. Yeah. Oh, check out this. And then you could just hold on to that. I might be able to use that or something. Yeah. Just us cruising down McHenry and we ran into the chick that pulled up.
Yep, meth bitch.
You know what I mean? Like, that was just out of nowhere. Like, that's the shit you just run into by venturing around and checking out crazy shit or whatever, looking, searching. And
then once you talk to people about what you're doing and they're interested, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool, you're in, dude. You're in the movie. Like, you want to be in? Like, that's how it's like,
and it was fucking rad.
This is cool, man. Let's go check out your crib and, tell me this fucked up story about how this or that happened. And everyone's what's it called? Everyone's got a shot being in there.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with what you guys did, like how you got into them and you got into those homes and like meeting their family or whatever, like that in that world is hard to do. And with those people, that are just, they're in situations and they're having it rough or whatever, man. Like
poverty,
the connection you guys have to talk to them.
A lot of shitty shit.
And we're cool to them, for them to fucking say like, yeah, I'll be in it. You know what I mean? Like to look at like, cause that shit's real, man. Everyone that you guys ran into, like, those fuckers were going through.
Well, I think I was just going to say.
You introduced us to them.
Yeah,
so.
Right. But you guys opened the door too, is what you know what I mean? Yeah, I showed you spots, but like for them to open up and like get into their homes and like, I maybe fucking pick the lock a little bit, but you fucking, it got opened and.
Well, let's put it this way. You got us in there and maybe we were able to stay. You know what I mean? Like we didn't get kicked out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in terms of like, I think not everybody, but a lot of those people, a lot of those situations getting into was your, ability to connect with people. And like I said, if we had gone in there and Coos, we would have gotten kicked out. So it's sort of, whatever.
Guess where that comes from, once again. skateboarding.
Yeah,
definitely.
Having to talk your way in and out of so much
talk
shit.
your way into people's backyards.
Yeah.
People who have no idea what a fucking skateboard is or haven't even looked in their backyard at their shitty swimming pool with mosquitoes in it, with green water for 2 years, and you come knocking at the door with fucking 5 friends. Some of them have shirts on, other fucking weird, torn up fucking whatever, face fucking tattoo freaks. One dude smoking a joint, holding skateboards. Hey, how's it going? Can we jump in your backyard and skateboard? Like, what? So yeah, same techniques.
We'll fucking figure it out.
We'll
weasel our way in.
This is how we do it, man.
And it's when you want something, you know, you got to figure out how to get it, you know. And that's the thing of wanting to do something, like wanting to skate so bad that you're willing to do whatever to do it.
Right.
You can apply that to other things, you know, like, oh, we want to film the scene, or we need to film the scene so bad that we'll do what it takes. Not in a bad way, like do what it, like we'll figure out how to talk to you and how to, maybe we need to take you to the methadone clinic, and maybe we need to bring you some beers. Maybe we need to, you know,
eat lunch.
Yeah, give you some food, or take your daughter somewhere, you know, or whatever.
Cool.
And it's like, because we've done all that before. Right. To get to skate. So it's not weird.
It's
when
not.
someone's like, hey, yeah, I'll do this, but do this.
You remember when there would be a pool or a scene you go to, like with Salva or someone would be like, oh, this is a 12-pack. This is a Carlton Slim.
This guy drinks Fleischmann's vodka.
Yeah, there's always, you got to bring them that.
This guy drinks Miller Lite only.
He wants a menthol.
A 12-pack or you don't get the skate.
Yeah, if you don't show up with menthol, like if you show up with regular Marlboros, you're fucked. Get out. You know?
Everything. Weed.
There was an old lady here in LA out in the valley, Betty, where you had to bring her pizza. There was a guy here, and another guy
in the hills. Yeah,
another pizza guy. You had to bring a large pepperoni pizza.
What do you want? Pepperoni?
How killer is
whatever.
that, dude? You're sitting in your home doing fucking nothing. Your shitty pool in the backyard. A bunch of kids show up with some pizzas and some cold beer,
and they were
like,
both.
They didn't have to leave the house.
Both those old people couldn't get out of their house, so you actually felt good, like you're doing a community service to go skate their shit.
Yeah, but so that's it. All again, it all folds back in, and really, this movie is totally. All the techniques that were used were both instinct and, you know, techniques that were tried and true techniques.
Tried and true.
Dude, it was such a it was
and
so
it worked.
Fucking crazy.
And we did bring in, you know, like for one of the big shoots, we brought in like professional people like Xavier as an assistant director, who, like, dude, is not to say we did the shit on our own. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know how to do, you know.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the shoots.
Yeah, we haven't.
When the fucking crew showed up. We're talking about, like, figuring it out.
Yeah.
And we're not even there yet.
You're right.
Like,
yeah, because I remember we're at Aki's and you're doing that scene. You had, like, all your friends that, like clothing, like, know what to wear. And, like.
Yep.
That's the thing, I think,
wardrobe department.
A good thing to know is to.
It takes so much.
And to become self-aware of, like, what you can and can't do. You know what I mean? It's like having an assistant director is the person that, like, whips people into shape, you know, and makes sure that the actors are wearing the same clothes in the next scene the day later, you know, like, so that, you know, or down to like a button on their shirt or whatever, you know. It's like you hire real people that really know how to do that, and they're stoked. Where the skill, I think, comes in is convincing them that the project is cool enough and that they're going to be proud enough of the work that they'll do it at, like, whatever the reduced rate that we can afford to pay, you know, or whatever.
Right.
So it's like the skill always, you know, but definitely knowing where you need help is super important. Right. You know, and have it be, or like our cinematographer, our friend Chris Blauvelt, he's an incredible cinematographer, you know, or director of photography, whatever. It's like, that was a huge, like, addition to making
it was going to be, it was about making a jump from what we
couldn't do.
Buddy and I have done our whole lives, you know, working together with skate films. It was about a total departure from that. Okay, I mean, I'm contradicting myself because I say how similar it was. The actual film crew showing up and the roles that people had, like, that shit was awkward, man. Like, watching someone sit there and pull the trigger on 16mm film, like, for a long time, and you're listening to that film burn through. And money. You can't fucking say anything because this isn't you shooting, man. You know what I mean? Like, you brought these guys in, and this is how they do it. They roll they just stay rolling. You know, instead of like whatever, for whatever. I mean, that's just one small thing that would happen occasionally. But what I'm saying is, like, you bring in this professional crew, and you have to get used to some shit. You have to get used to not even crossing over and being in every department. Like, hold my tongue. Don't go over there and ask, you know, these people, like, are they getting ready for the next scene? There's people to do that.
Right,
like, and there's people to dress those people, and there's people to make sure that they have the same right makeup, and so that for us was a big, like, you know, we've been around it enough, but being at the head of it and running that shit and being like, looking around and being like, whoa, dude, okay.
There's 30 people working right now.
There's 30 people working right now, and this all comes from this fucking stupid idea. Last time I was here with Andy 7 years ago, and we're fucking...
Well, that's what I wanted
doing God knows what in this fucking trailer, and now there's 30 people here, and we're trying to... There's people talking about it, like, with lighting direction and angle and you're just like, whoa, dude, how the fuck did this happen?
That's
like,
what
how
I was
did we get here, dude?
Yeah.
Like, me and Buddy were watching inside there, just some of, like, just talking in the park, hanging out by the river and stuff like that. And for us just meeting at a bar, and there's a pool next to it, and then we were just like, all right, let's go fucking check out this trailer park, or let's go down this strip, 9th Street. And starting it like that, and to watch it get bigger and bigger, like you said, and starting to have more friends come in, and how, like you were saying, was like, it was fucking neat to watch. Like, man, this is built, it was just cool to see. Like, from the start of it, of us just running around some sketchy spots or sitting on a bench talking about it, and then trying to come up with something, and then watch it build and grow.
It's called
and
evolution,
the people you got to get involved with it and make it, and Buddy and everybody, and
it was
finding the characters in it. You know what I mean? Like, just to watch it step by step, just like build and build. It was fucking neat. From starting from fucking cards, you know, like.
Yeah. I mean, that video in there that we just watched, that is some rootsy shit. Like, that's some early shit right there. That is some.
It was fucking crazy.
Like, wow, dude. Okay, it came from this. You know, and also, you know, it was really impressive. Because I know how it feels to have to get up in front of the camera sometimes. You know, every once in a while you got to do a little. As soon as you step in front of that camera and you're looking back at all those people, that's nerve-wracking, dude. And the way that, you know, Haley and Ryan are the two leads in the film, non-actors, never done it. The way they handled it was, I mean, I was so impressed. Like,
they did a really good job
with how they fucking dealt with being thrown into the middle of that.
I'm always blown away how good people are. Two things I'm always blown away. How good people can write when you actually ask them to write something, and how good people are in front of camera. I'll take some water. That never have done it before. You know, like, it's incredible to me. Like, people don't think that they know how to write. And then you say, hey, can you write something about this or whatever? And they hand it back and you're like, holy shit, this is like one of the coolest things I've ever read.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's just their own tongue, you know?
Right.
And then, thank you. And then same with being in front of the camera, you know? It's like you set up this, like, a scene or whatever.
And people did the incredible how they
insane.
Rose to the occasion.
Dude, they did. Haley and Ryan did a really good job, because I knew Ryan from the skate park. It was Jason Lee's nephew, and whatever we were doing, like, you know, like this.
Different Jason Lee, by the way, not that. Not that Jason Lee, a different Jason.
Yeah, different Jason Lee.
Just for the record, since we're on.
Right. And just like, he was just some fucking rug rat at a skate park, and then you found Haley, you know, and then like they did such a fucking good job. And then even like the people we ran into at the trailer park are on the 9th Street, like the gangbanger dude, and like
the people in the wheelchair.
Because like you said, you put a camera on, they
acted, man.
And skateboarders are used to it a little bit, because they, you know, you get filmed, so there's a little taste of something. But like they're like you said, to have a fucking camera pointed at you. In the world that they live in, where they usually avoid don't want to be known at all, or be, you know what I mean? That's putting me on the radar, cop, whatever it may be.
Yep.
And
just keep me quiet.
And then people watching you, everyone did good. That's in that movie. Everyone, and we're so down for it.
Yeah.
And it was you guys talking to them, like you said, and then like food and methadone, whatever you need, like. And I think that like got them out there, like got them comfortable. You know what I mean? And like it was easier for them to be in front of the camera by how you guys approached it, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, because dude, I'm just telling you, like that those fucking people have been through some crazy shit. That's a crazy fucking world. And like, to get them to even be like hell no, being in front of a camera, like a movie, bullshit. Like, fuck that. Yeah. Like, I gotta fucking go get whatever they're doing.
Or whatever just, why do I have time for someone showing up with a camera, right? Like, get out of here, dude. Like, just another fucking opportunity for someone to exploit us or get us into trouble or get it wrong. Like, there was a lot of trust. Again, that came with you, A, and also B, how we handle it with, you know, honesty and respect and never.
And then the madness of fucking that world kept coming back just to touch base with them and make sure they're still around, like keeping it going. Like,
dude, right
is that person gonna be in jail or dead or whatever?
It was nerve-wracking going to the showing it in Modesto. We showed it at the main big theater, the State Theater, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And we didn't get our asses kicked or anything.
Yeah. We actually went back again to the trailer park, into the River Road Market, out to the Snow White. Like, we went to all locations and knocked on everyone's door. Hey, man, we're showing the movie tonight. Like, we did it again. They're like, holy shit, you're here again.
Dude,
like, it felt so good to go back. Also, by the way, the feeling of going back and knocking on someone's door and be like, hey, man, showing tonight at the State Theater. Like, you gotta understand how fucking crazy that was. That became a reality, because it never felt like it was.
You never see him again, or even a lot, like, for you guys to come back and do it in Modesto, show the premiere. That's fucking amazing.
It was cool.
And track down who you could still around and ask a
lot of people.
Scarecrow or whoever, you know, like that's what's so fucking cool. And that's why I think those people ended up being a part of it, because it was just the way you guys approached it and made it fucking rad. And dude, Mark, I'm telling you, Mark, like, dude, it was, it blows me away how fucking insane it was going to all these fucking places. Dude, I was fucked up on drugs, but dude, I'm telling you, that doing all that was seriously the funnest time of me being fucked up. It was just like, Rick and Buddy, they want to go fucking check out this work, dude. I'm down. Let's fucking do it. And you guys weren't even tripped. Like, it's just fucking radical. Like, fuck yes. And because of skateboarding once again. But like,
I remember being like, I mean, straight up, like, we were hanging out, killing time. Like, all right, Rick, what do you want to do? I don't know, Danny, let's go buy some drugs. Like, let's go down to the trailer park and buy some drugs. Like, dude, something will come from that.
I was like, dude, this dude Rick is fucking rad, dude. Like, fuck yeah. And I could just be open about it. I didn't have to be weird and be all fucking like,
man, you know, like, people do drugs.
You got no judgment. Like, fucking, all right, let's dig into this, dude. Let's fucking do it. And it was so fucking cool. Sending me and Buddy, like, you would tell us, like, what character, like, well, we need a fucking, someone in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Priya, we fucking in a wheelchair, and we found the lady in a wheelchair, and the dude pushed her, and fucking. And then remember, they were like, well, we got to take her home, and then called her, and they came back.
It was unreal.
Like, just to get those, like, everyone that's involved in that movie, like, for you guys to fucking keep it rolling and continually going back there and fucking filming and staying in touch, like, dude, that's a big task. Like, dude, it's amazing.
It felt pretty natural. Looking back on it, it was probably crazier than we thought. But, you know, how it is, when you're in the middle of the storm, dude, you ain't really seeing it. Like, you're just trying to fucking deal with it. So you're not seeing how crazy it is till you get outside, and then you're like, whoa, dude, we fucking did that. Like, how? I mean, I watched the movie, and I trip out. Definitely, like, that scene with RT. Like, dude, some of these experiences were pretty fucking heavy, and
they were.
The fact that they actually got done, they actually got shot and became a part of whatever story it was.
Yeah.
Like, it's still unbelievable. But I think we should, like, let's look around a little bit at the show. And yeah, I just want to, like, real quick, like, just there's some thinking about it. You know, we're here at These Days Gallery in downtown Los Angeles. Good people, Jody and Steven, own this gallery.
Awesome.
They offered us the opportunity to, well, I mean, dude, it's fucking unbelievable, to make a book about the movie, which is why we're here in the space right now. So we spent a couple of months this summer, mostly them. You know, I was feeding them, you know, images and ideas, and we worked together, but they really fucking went for it. And actually, like, I think the book to me is like closure on the whole experience, because I I really wanted to give love to the people that we were talking about here. You know, I just didn't ever feel satisfied like that. There's so much more to this. Like the movie is such a small part of this experience.
Right.
So the book, I think, speaks to that. I'm really super proud of it. And I'm super thankful that these days I have this amazing show. Unfortunately, it's closing today, so y'all won't be able to come. But, you know, tap into this place. It's on Instagram, and, you know, go to the website, check out what they do.
Thesedays.la, right? Their Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look it up from there and come in.
Thesedays.la. And I just want to emphasize, again, like Buddy and I are talking about, you know, communal, everyone all in, money's not the issue. This is an extension of this gallery and these folks that run it and how they run it and what it's all about. It's the same shit. These are the same fucking people doing the same shit, just on a different, you know, in a different way.
Right.
This place is full of amazing books, incredible fucking artwork, objects, day art, and they do amazing shows almost every month. It's just like, you know, I don't want to miss out talking about how fucking cool these people are and how cool places like this, how cool they are and how important they are. This is like a very unique, strange kind of place, and it's almost like old-fashioned in a way because it's so... The object here is not to make money.
Right.
Well, probably not a lot. I mean, not a lot of money.
The object is to pay rent.
Of course.
It's not the first. Obviously, it's not the first objective.
No,
the first objective is to curate a really cool space, and it's here, and it exists, and show up.
Yeah, and they got some rad stuff in there.
That's fucking incredible, man.
Neat.
And I think, you know, just not to put too fine a point on it, but I think the main takeaway from like everything that we've learned in 30 years of doing this stuff and meeting people and whatever is really that we have collectively as skaters, artists, freaks, weirdos, you know, we have it within our own ecosystem, you know, and everybody does. And I'm not saying it's exclusive to us. I'm just saying that happens to be our ecosystem, that we have the means to support ourselves, you know, and have a sort of self-sustaining, I don't want to say economy, you know, that's too much of a like business, but a self-sustaining thing, you know, where we can help take care of each other. We support each other. We, you know, support each other's endeavors, artworks, and different, you know, things, you know, DIY stuff, and, you know, music. When people go see their band. When people do an art show, go see their art show. When people make a movie or make a skate video, go see the skate video. You know, when people need help with something, help them out. You know, that is super important. As the world gets crazier and crazier and crazier, you know, like that never changes.
Yeah.
That idea of helping out your friends, helping out your crew, helping out your scene is super, super important. And it's always been important, and it's always getting more important, you know, because you can't change the world necessarily, but you can change your scene. You know, you can help change your scene. You can help do that, you know, so you can't be hopeless about like, oh my God, the fucking world's going crazy. You know, it's like you and your friends take care of your shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's like what Rick's saying about, you know, this gallery or what we do, or, you know, we're friends with bands, you know, everything. It's like, make the fucking effort, you know, and I know a lot of people do. And
it's just ways.
Yeah. You know? and just
no one else, certainly, you learn this shit as you get older and you go through more and more stuff. Like, you know that this definitely doesn't come for any other reason except somebody fucking got the wild idea. There's no grand fucking scheme behind it or anything, but someone came up with something and they made it happen. And that's not easy, man, to have the belief in something that doesn't exist. Zero template, you know, not necessarily any idea. You know, it's like people write up a business plan for anything. It usually involves, you know, at some point making money. Like, you know, a lot of the folks we deal with, like it's sort of like not making money. How do we pay the bills and keep cool shit? You know, keep producing and making cool shit. Like that's the, you know, second point is how we're going to pay rent. First point is let's get the shit made.
Right. Yeah.
And that's our world, man. Those are our people. And like that is also what makes the rest, you know, a lot of times just like, I mean, to me, the rest of the world looks awkward because I'm just like, wow, man, like, it doesn't, you know, but whatever, you know, everyone can't be cool like us, man. You know, it's like, it ain't easy being, no, I'm just kidding.
It's just a matter of how you, again, measure success, you know, measuring success.
Everyone has their own version.
Yeah. Is your people doing good? Are you doing okay? You know, like that's, you know, rather than have I stacked all this money in my bank account, you know, or whatever, it's more like, you know, which is fine too. I'm not putting anybody down. That's stacking, you know, making money, and making money's great. Support your friend, you know, of course. Fucking, you know, we all need a rich fucking homie. Help us support our endeavors, you know, or whatever. And money's great. Don't get me wrong, but
it's definitely good to look out for each other and be supportive and just keep moving whatever our friends got, whatever we got, you know. Just help each other, man. So we can keep it going, whatever we're doing, and be involved with, man. And
feels good, man. It feels good to have lived it, you know. Almost 55. So it's good. Like, for once, I'm speaking like from a position of like real experience. Like, I've done, like we said before, I've done the research. The shit works. The shit works.
We've done the research. We've
like, this kind of lifestyle works. You know, like, just different priorities. And dude, guess what, man? I think a big part of what is pushed on people in the world, it's not, you know, the way things should be, ought to be, the system you should be in, the bills should be in, the car, the apartment, the fucking education, all of these things that exist as, like, you know, the framework of how we work as people, like a society. There's also room for other ways of doing it, like your own way. Like, I think that's so fucking cool. Like, that you can defy all of the fucking rules of the system and be just, you know, and it's like, hold on a second. I could have just, that would have been easy enough just to do that. But there also is this other trippy way. And if you get people involved with it, and all of a sudden it becomes, I mean, I think church and religions, like, you know, gatherings of people of faith and houses of worship, you know, it's the same idea. You know, people find comfort in,
goes back,
and like-minded, you know, folks wanting together, get, you know, bake sale or fucking, you know, barn raising or whatever it is that you do. You know, it's just, but this one just happens to be a little bit more radical, a little bit more homemade.
Definitely.
A few less rules. You don't. It actually doesn't fucking matter what you do, and somehow it's still.
That's great. That's right up my alley.
Which is why
rules the better, dude. I love it.
Jobs. None of these things ever quite made sense, and so thank God, you know, you got the underground. The underground is where it's at.
Radical.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm talked out. How are you?
Yeah, no, we're good. I just want to say thank you guys for doing this, dude. You guys are rad. Please keep doing what you guys are doing.
We're doing more.
Fucking making it happen. Making rad shit. So stoked. We crossed paths, and I got to do some stuff with you guys, and you guys fucking rule, man. It means a lot. Stoked for all this. And Warm Blood's gonna be out soon, right? Like,
it opens in New York next week.
Okay.
And then not sure where it goes from there yet. I mean, we have a few different spots. It's playing in Chicago Underground Film Festival in a couple weeks. It's showing in Paris in a couple weeks at Film Festival there. It's showing.
Dude, you've been doing premiere. You guys have been doing premieres everywhere.
Oh yeah,
all over the world.
For the last year and a half.
Rad.
Yeah, it's usually, you know, we'll end this, but just, you know, for the sake of speaking to filmmakers and sort of, this is something that we've learned. You know, the system is. The way it works, and I learned this. I didn't know this a year ago, and it was just weird because I was probably doing some shit wrong along the way, not knowing it. But you know, you put out a movie, and the next step is like, there's you got to submit it to these festivals, dude.
Right.
Like, you got to send it. There's thousands and thousands, dude. There is no shortage of film festivals. Let me fucking assure you of that. I cannot believe how many film festivals there are.
I've seen it, man. Like, all the places you guys were going, like where you're playing, it's fucking insane, man.
So that's what you do, man. You get out there and show it.
But that's what you're supposed to. That's how you do it, man. You gotta. If you don't throw it out there, man, people will never know. So fucking get out and show something.
It's great. We've always, That's, we've always shown our movies all over the place. Like, we love going, we're doing a screening tonight. Here.
Fucking,
you know, we love showing their shit.
We'll be standing here all fucking day talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we got another few hours. But it was really cool touring around, and the one thing that I did learn, and I'm going to stop talking after this, but I will say this because I think it means a lot. We showed this all over the world, different countries, different languages, people who didn't understand it, people who didn't fucking know us, people who had no idea what it was about or what was coming. But man, we showed it to thousands of people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of theaters and a lot of different places, and fucking people got it. They got it, dude. Which speaks to the whatever it is that we said in the movie, I think carries over. It's somehow universal. It's somehow something that other people can. And I can't even tell you really what the movie's about exactly, but it is cool to know that I think through our efforts of keeping it honest and real with real people, that tone fucking shines through. And you can tell that when you show it to other people in other countries, they see that. They pick up on that and they get that this shit's real. And that's, again, just want to thank the cast, the fucking crew, and everyone. Seriously, man, like a part of this, but like a really small part of it in a way when you compare how much it took.
Yeah, it was crazy for how long, dude. It was amazing, dude. I'm so fucking stoked for it to come out finally. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for everyone to see it, it's a rad movie, man. It's a fucking gnarly, heavy, but you just gotta see it and experience it, man. So I'm stoked for you guys. Stoked, Rick, man, buddy. Thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Have a look sometime. I think October. It should probably. Okay. We don't know exactly yet, but it's going to be streaming and in theaters, small runs and small art house.
You'll
theaters.
be letting it known right before.
It'll be all on Instagram, yeah. So, you know, those who want to know, you go there and check it out. We're going to be doing screenings of it upcoming. It's about ready to come out.
Right.
So it's about ready to hit the streets, and we'll see how it goes once it gets out there.
Yeah, cool. Stoked, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Rick and Buddy, Six Stairs Productions. Fucking check out their videos. They got so many rad skateboard videos, everything. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Andy.
Fucking
cheers.
Cool.
Right on,
buddy.
All right. Cool. Stoked.
Cops and old people suck the most, and I want to shoot my mom in the face.
Day 11, survival. Day 12, digging through dumpsters. Day 14, sleep.
They're gonna lose body parts. They're gonna fucking lose body parts, and it'll be too late.
Yes, sir, my name is Red, and I am crazy.
Rip Ride or Die podcast brought to you by New Origins Treatment Center. Anyone struggling with addiction or mental health, this is the treatment center that helped me get me back on my feet, that helped me out, changed my life. So anyone struggling out there, you could personally give me a call at 909-800-0442. I'm telling you, so much love at this treatment center. So if anyone out there is struggling with mental health or addiction, please give me a call. A-Tech Recovery Massage Guns. These guns are amazing. If you're like me, that like to ride fast, eat shit, I don't care if you're on a motorcycle, a skateboard, if you're getting into fights, bar fights, whatever it is, and you wake up with your body beat up, these are the massage guns you want. ATechRecovery.com. Go check them out. The massage guns work great. They work wonders.